Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's been quite the week with the news headlines, which began Monday, March 2nd, 3-2. Remember, 3-2 is a lot like 32, the America number. America equals 32 in Pythagorean gematria. The numerology of the date July 4th, 1776 is 32. The abbreviation UK is 32. And think about that. It's supposed to be independence from the UK. So, on March 2nd, we got these headlines that ISIS has taken over the town of Tikrit, and now Iraqi forces are going to try to regain control. And throughout the week, we've gotten these headlines that it's been a very emotional battle. If you're not aware, this is the town that Saddam Hussein is from. This is his hometown. He was found in a foxhole, supposedly, just outside Tikrit. Tikrit is also one of these towns with 33 gematria. This is Pythagorean gematria right here. Tikrit sums to 33, 299, or excuse me, 292992. Nines and twos make up the name in Pythagorean gematria. And it makes me wonder if this is possibly what we could call a CIA town or a New World Order town or a NATO town where they run continuous stunts out of and operations for the propaganda purposes. Like, I mean, look at these shots right here. Where do people do this? You know? These choreographed shots. And honestly, these look just like the shots they've been giving us of ISIS. And Saturday Night Live did a skit on that, making fun of this. It's the same type of stuff, just that there'd be an ISIS flag here and these guys would be in all black. Stuff is silly. Let's just watch some CNN news coverage on this story right here, for an example.
It's going to be a long campaign. The Iraqi military was saying a few days ago that it could last as long as 10 days, but it could, in fact, last longer.
Truth Seeker, if you don't remember, they said the second invasion of Iraq with George W. Bush, the 43rd president, they said that was going to be a short operation, and it would pay itself back in heaps of oil and all sorts of other stuff, which just sounded like crazy talk to me anyway, even if that was true. Paying ourselves back in oil? It's like they were openly telling us we were having a war over oil. You know, I don't know how people just let this stuff just slip right through their ears like it's nothing. It's because they need the media pundit to make a big hysteria about it, and then they need to turn to every station and see every pundit talking about it for weeks straight before it sinks in. Like a Tiger Woods sex scandal. You know? An important story. Like that. Alright, let's continue. Oh, you know what? I want to make one more point. That war with George W. Bush, Bush Jr., Baby Bush, Shrub, that started exactly 555 days. 555, like the number they love to put on the screen for movies. Fake phone numbers. 555. It started 555 days after September 11th, 2001. Think about it. Our War Department is 5-sided, 5 floors above ground, with a 5-acre court in the middle. The Washington Monument across the pond is 555 feet tall and 5 inches. It's a lot of fives. And there's 111 feet below ground. What's 555 plus 111? I'll let you do that one. Let's continue.
Than that. Now, we did have an opportunity today to speak with the governor of Salahuddin province, where Tikrit is located, as well as the head of security in the province, and they told us that progress has been made to the northeast of Tikrit, that Iraqi forces and various militias had been able to sweep through an area of about 60 kilometers towards the city. This is an area known as Al Buajil, where there are a lot of oil wells and oil refineries, not fancy refineries. We're talking about crude refineries that...
True Seeker, this kind of imagery right here is what they always show us for wars. I mean, how do we know they're not just staging this and then saying, look, see, here's proof of the war? I want to go back and look at the dates of those burnt up Blackwater employees, where at first we were told they were U.S. troops, then it came out it was private military. Years later, Blackwater equals 33. remember watching CNN, the 33 News Network. If you haven't watched my video post on CNN and Ted Turner, aka Robert Turner III, and its relation to the Georgia Guidestones, please check that video out.
ISIS uses to generate a lot of its income. They have taken over much of that area, and they expect to move forward in the next few days closer and closer to the city. Now, the Iraqi forces are approaching Tikrit from the north, the south, as well as the northeast, and trying to essentially cut off the city. The main thrust seems to be coming from Samarat to the south of Tikrit. Now, there has been reports of a suicide car bombing against an Iraqi army convoy. In fact, ISIS is claiming that this attack, which took place yesterday, was the work of somebody they call Abu Daoud al-Amriki, the American. Now, we don't know precisely if he was this one that the Iraqi security forces are claiming killed as many as 3 of their men, but it does go to show that ISIS, even though they may be on the defensive at the moment, is still able to use this very deadly weapon, suicide car bombings. They're also adept at the use of IEDs, booby traps, and landmines.
Are you believing it, True Seeker? Stuff is crazy.
Which could prove to be a significant problem, slowing down the advance of the Iraqi army, the Shia militias, as well as the Sunni tribesmen who are involved in this operation. Now, what's interesting is that I looked at the list of coalition airstrikes today that took place in Iraq and Syria, and the closest coalition airstrike took place in Beiji, which
over the years, as I've watched this footage, I've always asked myself, who are these cameramen? The word cameraman equals 33. Remember, recently Tiger Woods' tooth was knocked out and it was blamed on a cameraman just before his 322nd golf tournament where he had his worst score ever. An 82. Like the word soldier. The word soldier also sums to 82.
Which is quite a ways north of Tikrit. Now, what's significant in this operation is that it was one not launched with any coordination with the United States or coalition powers. In fact, U.S. officials say they haven't been consulted at all on this. The Iraqis have not asked them for any air cover. What's involved here, however, is an apparent fairly serious Iranian presence in the operation. We know that
mixing in Iran. Here we go.
Qasem Soleimani, the head of the elite Iranian Al-Quds force, is on the ground, helping, according to the Iranian media, to supervise the operation. Pentagon officials say that Iranian forces are also present, that they're manning heavy artillery and rocket launchers. So it's ironic that at the same time that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is talking about what an enemy Iran is to the United States and Iran and Iraq may not be working together, but they are working for a similar purpose here in Iraq. And
think about that, True Seeker. The United States and Iran working for a similar purpose, but no Israel. I mean, this is what I've been watching in our media for over a decade. When you just pay attention to it all, it's just, what are they trying to do to you? They are trying to confuse the hell out of you. That's why everybody tunes out. They don't know what to think. Well, I am trying to bring some clarity and show you how all this propaganda is orchestrated by these numbers. And then when you learn about the people who worship these numbers, you learn that they believe in ruling through divide and conquer tactics. Duality is a major part of their belief system. And they're constantly doing that to us from state universities, usually 2 big schools in each state, so you can have that whatever you call it at the end of the game season, big football game. Some states call it the Civil War, the Cup, the whatever. You know that. How do you? It's like this false rivalry, camaraderie component of our society. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just there. Republicans and Democrats. So many unnecessary things to divide over, and really, they're just all one and the same. All right. Let's let this guy finish up.
that is to defeat ISIS.
Oh, yeah, to defeat ISIS. So Iran and the United States, which seem to have a false hoax relationship, are also there to fight a hoax together. Doesn't that make sense? I mean, when you really think about it, it does. A reminder, Tikrit is where Saddam Hussein was captured in Operation Red Dawn. Tikrit has the 33 gematria. What's the point I want to make here, Truth Seeker? It's this operation he was captured in. It's called Operation Red Dawn. Anyway, True Seeker, maybe I didn't even write it here, but this is Operation Red Dawn. Red Dawn also has the gematria of 33. Captured in a 33 town in Operation Red Dawn. And I mean, think about what a joke this is. We're naming the operation after movies. If you look up the wiki for this, it will even admit that the thing was named after the movie, which was released in 1984. Remember, United States of America equals 84. It's just a big joke. It's all numbers. So, besides that story, we've also been getting all these details about Jihadi John. Now his face is released. Supposedly, this is Jihadi John, the man doing the beheadings. Once upon a time, the name was the Beetle, a name with 33 gematria. He was shown in this Pittsburgh Pirates hat. The word pirate, the singular, has a 33 gematria, just like robber, just like banker. They play in PNC Park, which has a gematria of 33. And it should be noted that the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Philadelphia Eagles were established in the year 33. Pennsylvania is known as the Keystone State. Keystone has a gematria of 33. Right now there's all this Keystone pipeline talk. With regards to their symbol, the P, that's the 16th letter in the alphabet. 16 and 90 are the only two words or numbers when spelled out that have a Pythagorean gematria of 33. They're the only two numbers that have a gematria of 33. So lots of 33 tributes here that you might otherwise I can't speak. You might overlook. Also, this name Jihadi John, I mean, just how ridiculous it is. Jihadi. This is an American Western word. The Final Jihad is a book written by the brother of the governor of Oklahoma at the time of the Oklahoma City bombing. He wrote it before any of these events took place, but he wrote about the bombing of the federal building in Oklahoma City. And in his book, the character's name is Tom McVeigh. Not much different from Tim McVeigh, who it would be blamed on. And again, he wrote this before it happened. In that book, commercial airliners also get flown into the World Trade Center. A missile downs a flight out of a New York airport. Stuff that became real news was written about in this book called The Final Jihad. And we've heard this word ever since in the post 9/11 era. Jihadi John. Jihadi equals 41, just like the acronym USA, like the word king. John has the important gematria of 47. Think about the nation's birthday, 4th of July. Jihadi John sums to 88, another important number. Uncle Sam equals 88. George Washington equals 88. Poison and program both sum to 88. It said Jihadi John's real name is Muhammad Mwazi. With simple English gematria, this sums to 149. That movie that's supposed to come out on the 149th day of the year that shows the Hoover Dam exploding, it's got the number 49 coded all over it. Maybe somehow this fits in. His name with Pythagorean gematria sums to 68, another number of importance. And, all this 33 coding, we find it in so many places, including all the religions of the world, even including the word Muslim. And in the post 9/11 era, there has been a legitimate effort to make Americans hate Muslims while at the same time funneling more Muslims into the country than have ever lived here. And if you take off the blindfold for just a second and ask yourself what our government's possibly trying to do, you don't have to think too hard. They are building for real tension, unnecessary tension, and it's all purposeful, it's all by design. This is part of their agenda for America. You have to think this country was created by the New World Order. It's not a real country. It's a machine. It's a means to an agenda. And the end game for that agenda is likely not favorable for the United States of America, at least not for a certain period of time. And we're getting more and more into that time. The reason they're legalizing marijuana right now is twofold. One, to raise revenue, and two, is to help people. First of all, I'm a proponent of marijuana, but I also see the negative sides. A lot of people smoke weed to tune out and to wash away all the stuff that bothers them. And I would say myself included, but I try to keep a fair balance and think about things. But my point is nationally, they're going to want more and more people checking out as we emerge into this path they're taking us on. And marijuana is very effective at wiping out negative and helping you move on and persevere. Now, to use that as an agenda to make people check out against legitimately bad stuff, that is not okay. And I guarantee you that's part of the agenda because that's exactly what it was with alcohol also. Prohibition ended in 1933, the bottom of the Great Depression. There were many years after that, more than a decade, up until World War II of suffering. And a lot of people became alcoholics and drowned out the present and the misery of their lives with bottles of alcohol. And it's not going to be any different with weed. Anyway, I don't know how I got into that rant, but it's all part of this. All this stuff's about making us check out, overwhelming us, making us go, ah! So also, look, they said his name was Muhammad Emwazi. They used a similar story this summer with a Chicago teen who tried to join ISIS. And right away, I just caught all the numerology in this. Look, the same spelling on Muhammad they used. And 19, when ISIS in Gematria breaks down to 9191. And since doing this post, a fellow truth seeker's come along. His name is Josh Stoss. He has a YouTube channel and a blog. He's doing a lot of work on the Quran and numerology, and it's super fascinating. He's doing great work, so check out his channel. Lots of mind-blowing stuff with 19. But yeah, this pattern of Muhammad. Now check this out. I've been watching the news headlines. I've been doing all this documenting. This is a post on my blog from March 22nd, 2014, almost a year ago now. On that date, they had this story that just seemed like a propaganda piece. And here again, we see this spelling of Muhammad. And it was about him getting shot dead in Baghdad on March 22nd. March 22nd is the date the Arab League was founded after World War II. So this number has relevance in the Middle East just like it does here in the United States. It's because it's all part of a New World Order conspiracy. The president of Iraq right now is Jalal Talabani, truth seeker. Check out this name. Look at this name. Do you think this is a real person or an agent? You ask yourself how something like ISIS can exist without the Iraqi government exposing it? Well, when they have their agents in place to be complicit in the conspiracy, this is how. This is how the silence remains. Okay, so we've gotten the Tikrit headlines. We've gotten the Jihadi John headlines, and now today they're hitting us with these headlines. Here's the breaking news on CNN. ISIS throws gay men off roofs. And if you're wondering about this, truth seeker, LaGuardia has a numerology of 74. Delta has a numerology of 42. That said, this very well could be a legit accident here. This stuff does happen. My good friend's mom growing up was a flight attendant who actually worked for Delta. And she was in a few things like this in her lifetime. Crazy little plane crashes on runways. So they happen. Possibility. Could also be a stunt. You just never know. They need a distraction each day. But anyway, this headline over here, ISIS throws gay men off roofs. It's something else. What I want to point out is throughout so much of this ISIS propaganda, the number 33 has been coded. In this case, just look right here. Look at how long their video is. 3 minutes and 33 seconds. The word gay itself has a gematria of 33. Homosexual has a simple English gematria of 133. The insult fags, or in the UK, cigarettes, sums to 33. Menthol equals 33 with Pythagorean gematria. And then queer is 66 and happy is 66. And you think about how these words are synonymous with each other. And you think about everything you've learned on this video blog about 33 and 66. How if you write out the word 33, it sums to 66. And so much more. You see, this stuff's probably not a coincidence. And in terms of throwing people off roofs, that is a story that dates back to bankers flying off of roofs from last year. For JP Morgan, they had stories in close proximity to each other of a 33-year-old flying off a 30-story building. And then just days before that, a 39-year-old flying off a 33-story building. So the numbers we see coded so often, and here they were in this JP Morgan Chase story. So in terms of throwing people off buildings and coding it by numerology, that's not ISIS. That's the elites who run this world. And the elites who run this world have coded their stuff all over our dollar bill. The dollar bill is the only bill to not be remade. And when you think about this bill and how intricate the design is, think about what year this was printed. It's pretty amazing to think about. All of this is coded with the numerology, the gematria, the symbolism. The word banker itself sums to 33. And if you look at Bank of America's symbol, it is 3 11s. 11 plus 11 plus 11 equals 33. They own Visa, which has a gematria of 33. If you look at the dollar bill carefully, this star above the eagle, it totally makes out the Star of David. Remember, Star of David sums to 119. And then we see how in other bills, the towers and Pentagon were coded into them for 9/11. It's undeniable when you look at it. I mean, it's lunacy to think that anybody would do this, but these people are real lunatics. They're real lunatics. They even code their Mason in their Star of David. M-A-S-O-N. Way before Israel. This is way before Israel existed, Truth Seeker. This is before we entered World War I. We got our Federal Reserve. The word federal is 33. Then we entered World War I, all for the future state of Israel. See how it all works? The Zionists have been running the show since, well, for a long time. Probably since well before this nation was created. All part of an agenda, a plan. Look at where the United States focuses all of its military might. On the Middle East. The biblical places. You think it's all just a coincidence? No, these people went across the ocean, built up their muscle, and then came back to wage their way. That's what we're living out. That's what we're participating in. That's what agenda we're all helping if we're shopping at their stores, watching their media, spreading their gossip, regurgitating their lies. The Holocaust, ISIS, September 11th, it's all part of how they've built the world around us. Let's watch this CNN coverage on ISIS throwing gay men off roofs, 3 minutes and 33 seconds long, don't forget it.
Life for gays in the Muslim world is difficult as it is, but in the areas where ISIS rules,
Remember, Muslim's another 33 word, so in the 33 world, it's tough to be gay. And it's so tough that they coded the word gay 33 from the beginning.
Retribution is beyond cruel. Now, again, ISIS images meant to shock and to terrorize have been distributed, and more examples of their inhumanity are on display. This time, it is perverted justice against gays in both Syria and Iraq. The names of those Arwa Damon spoke with for this report have been changed, and their identities concealed.
These stills, dated March 2015, purport to show a man being thrown from a building. According to the last caption, he was also then stoned to death, his alleged crime being...
What? He was thrown from the building, then stoned to death? You mean he survived the fall? Come on. All these headlines are so sensational and ridiculous. It's bad.
Gay. These images were posted by ISIS in its stronghold of Raqqa. This series as well, from January, show an older man seated in a chair and then tumbling to the ground. Also in January...
You mean the media's held on to this story since January? The way they report stuff? Think about the media, Truth Seeker. How often do they report stuff and then say, oh, they don't have enough details to really give you anything clear? They're just like, for whatever reason, throwing this information out there. But they're going to wait on a story like this from January? Come on.
These from ISIS in Mosul. 2 men murdered in the same manner. In all the photographs, dozens of people are seen watching the killings, seemingly unfazed. Nor, a gay Syrian man says, that makes the...
See, that's how the propaganda works. Look at what they just told the American audience. These Syrian people, they just watch these horrific things and they're so brutal, they're unfazed. Yeah, okay, that's propaganda. Let's look at America. America has just watched criminal act after act from high places and sat around with their hands under their ass. Talk about unfazed. All this information is so hypocritical. It makes me sick. The masses make me sick.
Atrocious act even more nauseating.
And their facial expressions are really scary because they are not even scared of what's going on. They may be a little bit excited or maybe happy to get rid of homosexuals in the city.
Syria was never a nation that accepted its lesbian, gay, bisexual, and trans community. The country's laws criminalize homosexual acts, punishable by up to 3 years in prison. Since the revolution turned war, life for Syria's LGBT community has become even more dire. It was not ISIS that forced Noor to leave Syria. Well before ISIS emerged as a significant force. In 2012, Noor saw this video. This is the only frame that is not too gruesome to show. The video depicts 2 men being beheaded. They're accused of being spies. But then towards the end of the clip, a voice references a verse from the Quran. And Noor says when he heard that, it became one of the main reasons why he decided to leave. According to the posting, the video was filmed in Idlib, Noor's home province.
There's a very specific verse which say like, only this sin of homosexuality would shake the throne of God. So whenever we hear this on video or on audio, we know exactly that this meant for gay people. It was the moment of clarity, a moment of understanding that this place is not safe anymore.
Sami and his...
We need a new rule for media. You know, I've always gotten sick of this kind of stuff over the years too. Blacked out people with voices modulated. Either be willing to show your face and share information or not. I mean, talk about an easy way to pass propaganda. See, all these techniques have just made us think this is all normal. This is all legit. This is all reliable. These people just have a million different ways of lying to us.
Partner consider themselves already married. They fled after Sami's family found out they were together, and a car tried to run them over. 2 hours later, Sami's phone rang.
There was a man that was thirsty, saying, "This time you could have made it and you survived, but the next time you will not."
In Istanbul, the couple lives in shared housing with other Syrian men. When the ISIS photos emerged, one of their Syrian housemates made a sickening comment.
He made a very absurd joke about he was so amused and he has so much fun watching homosexual, and he say now gay men can fly.
Fear of persecution continues to haunt them here.
I mean, just what was that? Now gay men can fly? Oh my goodness. I don't know what's funnier, Saturday Night Live or the mainstream media. Have you guys seen this Saturday Night Live skit for ISIS? If you haven't seen this, you need to check it out. I like that it's 1:53 long. I wonder if that's really what it is in the actual show, too. We know about that number 2, right, True Seeker? That's the Vesica Piscis. That's why that number is in the Bible for the number of fish. Hey, True Seeker Encore. My video got blocked by YouTube because I closed out this video you're now watching in an earlier post with the Saturday Night Live skit about ISIS. If you haven't seen that, just search for it. You can even watch it on YouTube. I didn't think they'd block my video because Saturday Night Live has a free view of it on YouTube, but anyway, they did. So please check out that skit. It just shows you what a gigantic hoax it really all is. A girl is going off to college, it looks like, getting dropped off by her dad, but then the joke is she's actually going to join ISIS. ISIS pulls up, looking well choreographed in a shiny new Toyota with their black flag. What I want you to know about the company Toyota, True Seeker, I did this in another post, but Toyota with simple English gematria equals 96, just like Freemason, just like Satanism, just like knowledge. Very Masonic company. And it's not just the Saturday Night Live skit. If you look at the actual ISIS photo ops in the news, they're in brand new Toyota Tundras. You have to ask yourself, where are they getting these vehicles? Where are they coming from? It's all just part of the big joke, True Seeker. The people hoaxing us are laughing at us. They're swindling our money, they're wasting our time, and they're laughing at us. And they're keeping us pacified with skits from places like the Rockefeller Center. Rockefeller equals 56 with Pythagorean gematria, just like how ISIS equals 56. Once upon a time, Saturday Night Live did a skit on planes crashing, the World Trade Centers, a problem in Pakistan, and Osama bin Laden just weeks before September 11th happened. It was the same then as it is now. They're making fun of us with ISIS as they once did with Osama bin Laden. So anyway, that's the extent of the message. Please check out the Saturday Night Live skit if you have not already. All right, until next time.